All right, friends, today we are painting our hip polar bear. How cute is this guy? Let's go. Starting with our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, tons of white and black as well. Let's use I call it a 1-inch flat brush, but just a large flat brush is great for starting, fills in a lot of space. I'm gonna go straight for the yellow. We always outline in yellow. So let's go to the middle, and then we're gonna go over just slightly to your right. And I'm gonna put my first dot right there. So this dot is going to indicate the inside of the nose. So I'm gonna start moving towards the right and just create a nose-like shape, maybe about 1.5 inches in both directions, okay? Now your bear is turning slightly to the side. So we are going to hug the inside and make it wider on the outside. So going halfway between the nose and the top of the nose and the top of the canvas, I'm going to do a dot there, and then we'll go out to the side, hugging very closely. And then on this side, we'll go out to the side quite a bit more, maybe like 2 or 3 finger lengths. And then we will also go 2 or 3 finger lengths underneath, just like that. The yellow, we're gonna go right above where that head is. We're gonna put a little crease. So almost like a very subtle heart. And then we'll go down both sides. And we're gonna go all the way down off the page on the right side. And let's go all the way over here. Again, not quite as far because our bear head is turning that direction. That is a very large bear. Excellent. Taking that yellow again, we're not done yet. We're going to make 2 ears. You can decide whether you have cute little tiny ears or if you have big ears. And let's go ahead and swoop in his scarf. So I'm going to bring a point just maybe a little bit closer to his snout. That's the great thing about outlining in yellow, is I can move it up just a little bit. And then we'll bring that around on the outside because we do want to see a little bit of bear underneath right here. So I'm going to make his shoulder a little bit wider underneath that scarf, and we'll let the scarf come down. Nice. We have a nice big scarf. Okay, over here on the side, you're almost done. About equivalent to that nose, although you can put it anywhere you want. We're going to do the landscape. I just want it to dip ever so slightly instead of being completely flat. Your outline is ready. Here we go. So let's go for the blue, and we're going to start filling in this background. Now I still have yellow on my brush. I did not wash my brush. I'm going to bring in a tiny bit of black as well. So blue and black, and I'm going to fill in everything that is the night sky. Nice. Everything that's the night sky. Now, as I get towards the center, I'm going to use less black, the center of the sky, because I'm going to have kind of like a little white glowing, I imagine it being a star. So we'll come back to this section using that black and blue. Blue, no matter how dark that blue is, the black is darker, so just be aware that it's going to take over fairly fast. So a little bit of black goes a long, long way. Lifting this up for a second so I can hit the inside. Excellent. I'm not leaving any space between my sky and my yellow lines. Nice. Let's start to sneak in a little bit of white. So this is lighter. Again, I did not wash my brush. We'll let that sit for a second, and we're going to go on to this ground below. Take your brush. Please don't wash it. Just wipe it off on a paper towel, on a tablecloth, on your plate, on your apron. Go ahead and wipe off your brush, and then we're going to take just white, and we're going to start filling in down here in the snow. And if you wiped off enough, you're just going to see a faint little amount of that blue-black color shining through, creating some depth in that snow. We don't want the snow to be pure white. We want a little bit of those shadows. All right, prepping our brush for the polar bear. I'm gonna go for a little bit more blue and black. I don't want to get as dark as this, but remember I already have white on my brush. And I'm gonna fill in what I picture to be kind of like a shirt or a jacket, something snowy and warm and cuddly that's gonna go underneath the scarf over here on the bear. So just filling in this area right here. And I really want to kind of just wipe all my paint off on that area. I want there to be a little bit of texture to it too, so I'm not trying to mix everything together. There we go. So now I have a little bit more blue back on my brush. See, I'm just going to dab a little, just some white texture. I don't want it to be too smooth. Excellent. With this brush now, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start at the corners about halfway up. Well, it's not corners yet. It will be the corners of the glasses, but about halfway up the snout, I'm going to take this same brush and I'm adding white each time. And I'm going to go along just the very edge. This will be a reflection later of where the glasses are on our hip polar bear. And I'm going to kind of make a dark section on the bottom half. Excellent. And then let's create that fur. So I have that darker black blue that's mixed in with the white. I'm going to start creating fur that is in a kind of a V shape, a wide V shape that goes underneath the snout and one more place inside the ears. Let's put a little bit of black inside those ears. A little bit of black in these areas. Excellent. Wipe that off. Going for just white. This should be a lot lighter now. And all of these are going to be quick motions, quick little motions that give you the effect of the fur. Think about what direction the fur is going to lie, right? It's kind of going away from the snout, just like it does in all mammals, or all mammals I know about. So just go around underneath that section. Don't worry about a clean knot line where it meets the scarf, because we will be adding the scarf on top of that, and that will clean up that line. So just get that motion in there. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and do the ears next. I notice I'm even picking up a little bit of the blue in the sky that's still wet. How cool is that? I'm going to embrace that. A little bit of blue never hurt anybody. Okay, taking this color. Oh, there's my blue. If you get too much blue, you can wipe it off and just go back for more white. At this point, the shape of the polar bear, we want to make sure we're covering over all the yellow outline. There should be no yellow outline left. Quick motions, filling in this whole thing. It's not a solid white because you have a lot of colors going on in your brush. Your brush is layered. Excellent. Now this looks pretty cool, right? It's very cool. So I want to go ahead and bring in a tiny bit of yellow. Same brush. I'm going to dip it in a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to just start outlining just a little bit of yellow streaks on the edge, on the neck, just little bits of yellow. Not filling in the whole thing, just kind of a highlight, a glow. so that the bear doesn't appear so gray and dismal. Gives a little bit of life to this guy. This ear turned out pretty blue, so I'm going to bring in some yellow. I'm going to bring in some more white. There, I'm liking that more. What if we added a tiny bit of orange? Let's mix a little red with the yellow to make a nice warm orange. Let's add a little bit of orange in there too. Nothing crazy, nothing bright. We don't want it to look like it's bleeding, but just like a little bit here and there. Going around. You can always add more white on top when it dries. You can always add more dark on top when it dries. Excellent. Now we're going to go for the snout. So going back to that blue just a tiny bit and the white. Let's go ahead and fill in the snout. If it gets too blue, wipe it all off. Just want it to be very light. It's a white polar bear. These are just highlights that are showing up on its nose. And we want to smooth the fur a little bit more on its nose because these are smaller little tiny hairs. Excellent. We'll come back and add more details, but that's what we need for now, is just filling that in. The nose, or the snout. This is the nose, the snout, nice and smoothly. Now, what we do want to do is create the darker inside the sunglasses. So I'm going to go for some blue now. Now, I still have everything on my brush. I haven't washed anything yet. And I'm going to outline the shapes. So I'm going to start right around the top. And this is not the glasses themselves. This is what we see through the glasses, right? So I'm going to create the shapes of the glasses, and then I'll create underneath. I want to go with the same direction of the fur. Same direction of the fur. This is just how we're going to see, like, you know how those rose-colored glasses? We're blue-colored glasses. So how you'll see the bear underneath those glasses. We'll come in with a smaller brush to create the glasses themselves. So step back, see if they're even. It looks like that side's a little bit higher. So I'll bring this up. Your left side will be a little bit smaller because the bear is tilted, right? Now I'm going to mix a little bit of yellow with blue to make a teal. Too much yellow will turn into a green, so just enough to make a teal. And I'm going to go with the lines of the fur, but I'm going to go on the edges like this. Trying to follow my fur lines, going around the outside edges of the space covered by the glasses. Just a little bit. Now let's think about where those eyes are. So I'm gonna go for white. And we're kind of, not red. White. You can go for an eye socket in here. And then kind of soften up the fur lines. There we go. Now we are done with this brush. Let's go wash it. We're going to come back with another flat brush the size of our pinky. With this smaller brush, we're going to go over a lot of the areas that we just went over. Let's start with the background. I'm going to take white, just white, and I'm going to do one dot in the middle. And then we're going to start just going around and around, kind of that star. That swooshing around of it. And then I'll come back with some blue. Just kind of soften it up a little bit by putting that blue over that white. Okay, while we're here, I can take my white and just do a few snowdrops coming in, snowflakes. Don't overthink them. Don't make them too fancy unless you want to. You're the artist. This is yours. Okay, now that I have those colors, I'm going to mix a little bit more black. And I'm going to kind of just wipe that off. So now I have black on my brush, very, very little bit. I already have the blue on my brush, very, very little bit. And I have the white on my brush. So a light grayish blue. I'm gonna go back in here and I'm gonna create, let's do almost like a rainbow. This is gonna be part of the eye sockets. So just a rainbow on each side. We will be adding our eyes into those rainbows. Right now it's a smiley bear. Okay, going for that black. Oops, you know what? While we have this brush, let's add a few lines. That short fur that goes around the nose. I'm just gonna add some fur, short little furs that come down the middle and around either side of the nose. Some more white right at the bridge because that's gonna help it pop forward a little bit. That's how color works, right? If it's lighter, it's gonna come forward a little bit. Take a tiny bit of blue again. We're gonna go underneath the nose where that mouth will be. Just creating some shading. We'll add the actual mouth later. This is just the shading. If you get too dark, you can add a little bit more white. So I'm thinking about the shape I want my snout to be. I like that. Okay, going for just black. We're gonna fill in that big old bear nose. Now you can always make it bigger, but it's pretty hard to make it smaller. So I would start with a smaller bear nose, and then you can always make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Now, with the black on my brush, I'm gonna go for red, and we're gonna start creating the scarf. I wanna do the part that's on the right-hand side first, because that's the one on the underside of the scarf. So I'm going back and forth in long swooshing lines, the direction of the scarf. Swoosh, swoosh, all the way up to where they overlap. I'm gonna trace that over so you can see it well. So all the way up to that, and it's okay if you go over it just a tiny bit. That's why we're doing the side first. Swoosh, swoosh, all the lines are going in this direction. We're gonna start with this red that had a tiny bit of black in it. Swoosh. And now let's bring in some yellow. So again, yellow and red make orange. So we'll bring some beautiful orange colors in here. Swoosh. Now, your scarf can be any color you want. You are the artist. Swoosh, swoosh. We just want a lot of texture going in this direction. Don't overmix the colors. The variation is what makes it beautiful. Okay, we'll leave that side. Let's pop over to the other side. Grab a tiny bit of black for starts. I'll outline the bottom in black. And the reason we're adding a tiny bit of black for starts is because we had the yellow and the orange on there, and that's gonna lighten it up. And we wanna start with that same way we started on that side, which is darker. So now we're going for red on our brush. And now they're going the opposite direction. So now we're angling towards the right. We have those long swooping motions. Whoosh, whoosh, from here to there. All the way down. Long swooping motions. And now we're going to kind of cover up that edge so it makes it nice and clean. So you can see the scarf coming across. This polar bear is so hip. I wish I was as hip as this guy. So hip. Okay, same thing. So now we have all the lines going in the same direction. The texture of our brush is all going in that way. I'm going to pick up some of this yellow. We'll bring some yellow lines in. Orange lines in, all the way down, all the way across. We're not trying to make it stripy. We're just trying to add texture. Nice. Okay, last thing we're gonna do with this brush is some trees in the background. I would like you to take this brush, and right now we have kind of a yellow orange on there, or a red orange. It's an orange. The opposite of orange is blue. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of blue with my orange to make a brown, right? Because when we mix opposite colors, we get brown. And I want it to be somewhat of a light brown, so I'll go heavier in the yellow. Dark brown will work just fine. So again, I had my orange and I mixed in a little bit of blue to make it lighter, a little bit of yellow. I'm going to take my brush, turning it so that's vertical, very thin. And I'm just going to add a few quick trunks through here. So I'll do a line up here, maybe a line up here, and some lines down here. Just creating some woods back here. And then with a similar, or I would say with the same brown, I'm going to wipe off my brush so that my brush is somewhat dry. I don't want it to be too wet. And I'm just going to do quick motions to the side to create the effect of branches coming out. I don't want to spend too much time and attention on it. I don't want people to notice it too much. This is just a little bit of trees in the background. So I'm truly just making quick horizontal lines with a fairly dry brush so that I can see all the little bristles of my, the little bristles on my brush. Just quick. Quick. This is not where we want people's attention to go, so we're not going to spend much time on it. I do notice I like the brown, but I'd like to bring in a little bit of green. So remember, green is blue and yellow. So I'll mix some blue and yellow over here. Blue is stronger than yellow, so lots of yellow, a little bit of blue. And I'm just gonna go just the tiniest little bit on top of that, so we can have just a hint of green in there too. Just hints of green. Very subtle. Quick. Maybe a little bit in the background, so we can see that forest going back there. Just quick sideways motions. And I'm gonna go for black as the last thing with this brush. And I'm just gonna go for the outside edge of my larger trunks. And then just kind of try to blend them together while the black is still wet. And maybe even on the inside, tiny bit of white. Again, blend that together while my brush is still wet. Just a whisper of trees back here. Excellent. Washing this brush, we're going to switch to a round brush. So round brush is just a little bit smaller. Here we have our third brush. So this is a smaller kind of a round brush. It is not the smallest one. That will come later. Let's go ahead and mix whatever colors you want for your glasses. This is the frames of the glasses. I'm going to mix some blue with a little bit of white. So just mixing up a color that you like for the glasses. And using this brush, we're going to outline the glasses. So let's create that bridge first at the top of the nose. Now I'm going to go over the top, and this is also another opportunity to even out your glasses. So if one side is higher than the other, I'm going to create the tops of my glasses. There we go. And now we're going to come on the inside. Now, if you want to make some cat eye glasses, some Harry Potter style glasses, any kind of glasses you want, this is really your choice. Glasses, nice. And now for the other side, So on this side, I'm actually gonna bring it in front of the snout, on the right side, in front of the snout just a little bit more, because that's the angle that we're looking at that bear. And take a step back to see if you're about the same thickness. It doesn't have to be perfect, but roughly the same thickness all the way around. Ever so slightly. So I'm going to do the edge right here that the sides attach onto. And then I'm not going to bring them all the way back. I'm going to kind of tuck it inside that fur. So I'm just going to bring them back a little ways. And then I'll just let it be. Okay. On this side, let's bring them out ever so slightly. But I don't need to do that line going back because we wouldn't see it from this angle. And I'm just going to do a few little brushes through to add some variation. I don't want it to be a blue scarf. I'm just adding a few dimensions to it. Let's see. And on this side, because it's all the same scarf, so whatever I do to one side, I should do to both sides. Okay, now that I have this blue color mixed in with a little bit of red, so we're going kind of towards purple, I'm gonna go inside the scarf a little bit, so tucked inside the scarf on the bear itself, and I'm gonna mix up that purple color. And I'm just gonna go just slightly inside that scarf. Help create a shadow. And then I don't want the shadow to be smooth. I want the shadow to have the texture of the bear's fur. So I'll kind of bring that up just a little bit, all the way along. Nice. Now this purple color, since we've introduced it, I'm gonna add it to all of the darkest places on the bear, okay? So we have this purple, red and blue, and I'm gonna introduce a little bit to the inside of the ears. Just little tiny flicks, I'm just flicking. Little tiny flicks on the inside of the ears, on both ears. And I'm gonna do some little bit on the very bottom of this arcing eyes. Where else should we bring in some? Maybe right here at the bottom where the glasses meet the snout. Just a little bit of a shadow. Maybe where the snout meets the face. A little bit of this underneath where the head kind of separates from the neck. Just little tiny lines. This is not a lot, just little tiny lines. And let's go for right here underneath the nose where we're about to put the mouth here. That's really in the shadows too. Let's shadow inside the glasses. So again, blue and red. I need to mix up a little bit more purple. And following the brush stroke of the fur, I'm just going to add a little bit inside here, little tiny lines to create some dimension of the bear's face. Maybe a little bit over here on this edge. Always making sure that these lines are following the fur. They're not following the glasses per se. I mean, the edge of them follow the glasses, but the lines themselves are the texture of the fur. Nice. Okay, let's go to that nose. Let's take that purple and let's go on the top portion of the nose. Leave a little bit of black on the very top, and then we're gonna put some purple right there. So we're thickening up the nose with the purple. Excellent. See if you like the shape of that nose, because we're about to get very attached to it. Now let's go ahead and wipe it off, and let's get some white. So if you wipe the purple all the way off and get some white, then we can create kind of just little shadows at the base of the trees, which for me is just these 2 trees, because those are all behind the tree line. So very small, just shadow line from the tree. So you find your light source and the item that you are creating the shadow for, and that's the direction that I go. Okay, that was it with this brush. The rest of our painting is going to be with our tiny detail brush. So find the smallest brush in your collection, and I'll be right back. All right, here it is, your tiny little detail brush. I love it. Okay, we're going to start with your detail brush in white. And what I'd like you to do is we're going to create a little rainbow towards the top. Leave a little bit of black and create a little rainbow at the top of the nose. That purple and black should still be a little wet, so it blends in just ever so slightly. And then we're going to create, let's see, we're going to create the 2 nostrils. So our last layer on here was purple. So let's go ahead and create, let's outline the edge of a nostril over here, but just the very edge of it. And then maybe the center line, I think it's called the septum maybe. And then the edge of this nostril over here. Okay, I'm gonna wipe off the white and go for pure black. And I'm gonna fill in the inside of that shape I was creating with 2 big old nostrils. This is a great way to clean up that white line you made, because you can cover it up partially. Save what you want, erase the rest. Then I'm going to take that black at the very bottom to help that nose be round. Okay, same black. I'm going to create just a tiny little line underneath, super thin. Now to make your lines really soft, I want you to barely touch, okay? So you sharpen your paintbrush by twisting it, and then we barely touch our paintbrush. Let's go ahead and make the mouth. So I'm going to go over to the side, and you're going to go farther to the right than the left, because that's the direction our head is turned. I want to kind of follow the curve of the hair, which I created fairly round. So he's a happy bear. I'll make it a little bit thicker in the middle. Nice, there's my mouth. While we're here, I'm gonna mix up another blue, white, maybe slightly purple, because I want it to blend in, because I'm just gonna add a little bit more texture now that we have the lip itself. So I'll add just this right here. All right, we got our nose. We are going to take that black color and we're going to outline inside and outside of these glasses. So very, very thin. I'll bring you on up here. Oops, I forgot to push record. All I did was very gently go around the entire inside and outside, outlining with black paint. Okay, let's create our eyeball shape. So underneath the rainbow, so now we have a blue rainbow and like a blue line and a purple line. So the bottom line of that rainbow is going to be black. Let me bring you up close again. Oh yes, look how close we are. So I'm going to swoop in and just create that rainbow right here. A rainbow line on each side. And it's almost like a bell curve. It softens on the inside and the outside. Match those two shapes as good as you can. And once you like those two shapes, go ahead and create a circle underneath them. The circle doesn't come all the way to the edge. It leaves just a little bit sticking out on each side. Then we're going to fill those in. Excellent. Oops. Nice. This is at some point, some would add like little eyelashes. That's possible. You can do that if you like. Almost done. We're just going to add a little reflection in the inside of the eye, but also a little shine to the glasses. So I'm going to wipe off my paintbrush again. So it's mostly dry. I'm going to go for blue. And first I'm going to make a really, really light blue. So blue mixed with white. Again, I could bring in a tiny bit of yellow if I want that teal look. And I'm going to go around the outside of my glasses in the direction of the glasses and just add a little bit of a reflection on them, because these glasses are shiny. So white and blue, maybe yellow if you like. I mean, they could be pink as far as I care, but whatever your color your glasses are, we're just going to do a few lines going around. This is the reflection of your glasses. Excellent. Now I'm going to go for just white. And I'm going to do even less, but I'm going to go on top of those same areas, not covering that completely. So just white, going over the same place, but not as much. Excellent. And now I'm going to take the white and I'm going to put just little tiny reflective dots inside the eyeballs. We're done.